Hello all and welcome to Wayne's Allotment. Hope you're all staying safe, doing well. I must admit it's strange times continuing with this COVID. I don't know whether it ever will clear up, but still. Gardening, that's what we're all about. And we've got things to be getting on with, things to be prepared. And to that end, I've had some deliveries through the post. I've had some seeds, I've had my garlic come, but I've also had a little bit of bedtime reading in the form of a book, Dig for Victory by John Harrison. This basically is in a nutshell, it's giving you information with regards to turning your garden over to a vegetable patch during the Second World War to help out with regards to growing your own fruit and veg. And it's real fascinating read with some of the, this blew my mind with regards boots. Now it says here, horticultural service, and practically every one of Boots' branches there is a stock of the more frequently called for horticultural preparations. In nearly 300 of them there is a comprehensively stocked horticultural department comprising composting materials, lime, fertilizers, insecticide, winter washes. Absolutely. I never knew that Boots did that. That's fantastic, that is. And another thing that when you're looking online and you're looking through seeds to grow onions, I've always come across where they've said about Elsa Craig and Bedfordshire Champion, and they've said, oh, these are old varieties. But I didn't realise, but I don't know whether you can see that, but they're listed here. Elsa Craig and Bedfordshire Champion. Just unbelievable. And that the information that it goes on giving you with regards, this is actually sort of laid out, no doubt, as the guide would have been originally. And it's got things here that I'll just read you this little bit about January. January is generally a fairly quiet time in the garden, but you need to push on with your digging and manuring whenever the weather and the state of the land permit. You should also prune and begin to spray your fruit trees if you have not already done these jobs. But January is a time when you should be thinking of planning, ordering your seed potatoes, vegetable seeds, fertilizers and so on, and making sure that your tools are in good order and that you are ready to begin gardening in real earnest next month, or as soon as local conditions will let you. As I say, it's fantastic read, really is. I'll put a link on the bottom of my video with regards to John Harrison. There's a website relating to this book. He has got another website. I'll put both links in, and it's fantastic. Really, I'm chuffed to bits. I've not had it long, so I've not done a lot of reading of it, but it's a real, for me, the history of it all, way back, during the war, and what our parents, grandparents and so on, what they did if they turned their gardens over to growing. And fantastic. This was another little thing I wanted to show you with regards the crops. Even back then with crop rotation, and it giving you the information as to the various vegetable, when to grow, seeds and so on. Really is, it's fantastic great little book. I'm really pleased to bits with it. Now the other thing that I've had as well, garlic. This is Provence white, and this is elephant garlic, and this is it's the first year that I've grown elephant garlic, so I'm really looking forward to getting this in and getting and seeing how well it does. Now for those of you that have probably never grown garlic before, I'll show you when we get round on the plot. I'll show you what preparation is needed with regards to these bulbs, because these will be split up as has happened here. Believe it or not, that is an individual clove of elephant garlic. I believe, I mean, I'm not sure, but I believe that elephant garlic is a little bit milder than the normal garlic. And these, as I say, these have come, there's 12 cloves here. These have come individually. But for those of you that have never grown garlic before, when we go round on the plot, which is going to be the next job, I'll show you what I do with these and how we split them up. These have been in the fridge. The thinking behind that is that, well, both have been in the fridge, and the thinking behind it is that you give the garlic a bit of a cold snap. I mean, they've been in the fridge about 2 weeks, and you give them a bit of a cold snap so that then when you put them out in the ground, they think, oh, we've had a cold spell, I better start growing. And it's supposed to help to improve the growing, basically, of the garlic. Give it a bit of a kickstart to get it to push on. So without further ado, I'll stop waffling and we'll get and go around the plot, and we'll get and put this elephant garlic and this Provence white garlic in. So let's go get that job done. Well, there we are, round on the allotment. Just walked round from home, and I have the garlic with me, so I'm just going to show you a bit of preparation work, then we'll get the garlic in. Right, some of the preparation work that I'm doing. This you probably can't see a great deal, but there's a lot of muck in this. I've dug a lot of manure in, and I've put a little bit on the top and then just lightly forked it over. I'm now going to, maybe not all of this, but I'm going to put quite a substantial amount of this compost onto the top of this, and I'm going to work it in with my hands, because if I use a hoe or another piece of kit I've got, I call a cultivating hoe. I forget what Wolf call it, but this is it. brilliant bit of kit, but as you can see, stuff sticks between the tines, and I don't really want to bring up all the manure that I've put in, so I'm not going to bother using that. I'm going to use my hands, so we'll put that down out the way, and we'll just put some of this down. I probably won't use all of this bag on here, and it's just as a bit of extra preparation. I mean, the manure alone should be more than ample to feed the garlic, or at least to put some nutrients in to get it started. Once it's up and running, might not be a bad thing to add a bit of feed once it's got itself established. Now I'm just going to do this by hand. I know this is a bit laborious, a bit labour intensive, but I just want to get it. I mean, it's not a bad tilth. Admittedly, in places it looks worse than it is because of clumps of manure, but I'm not going to moan. I'm not going to complain about the manure being in the ground. So I'll carry on doing this, and I'll bring you back when I've finished. Okay, so the elephant garlic, fairly self-explanatory with regards to, they're the cloves. As you can see, that's quite some size, hence the name elephant garlic. Yes, they vary like with anything else, but all that I should do with these is peel off the outer skins, any that are flaking, and they'll be put in as they are. They'll go in rows. They'll go about 4 inches apart, and they'll go about 1 inch below the surface. I have got a little dibber for that, but move me rubbish. But what I want to show you, especially if you've never grown garlic before, how we go on with these bulbs. So what we have there, 2 perfectly good garlic bulbs, and what we do to convert those into individual cloves, we strip them down and split them up. This will then give us an idea of how many cloves we're going to have to put in. So you're just splitting them down into individual cloves, just very much like you would if you were going to cook with it, to be perfectly honest. Now that's the root. I'll show you. That's the root. I think, I'm not sure, correct me, those of you that do know, but I think that's called, is it the basil plate, that all these cloves have been attached to while it's been growing. So that we do away with. So I've got 8 cloves there. Let's see what we have from here. Again, taking off any loose flaking skin. And there's that plate again, and we've now got a total of 16 cloves. So I shall probably, although I don't have to, I shall probably space these out quite wide apart in here, do 2 rows, and then go down the middle with the elephant garlic. So the next job is to get and plant it. Okay, so what I've done there is, using my dibber, that's 6 inches. I've put a line in 6 inches from this board, and then every 4 inch, and I've managed to make 1 row up from the 16 cloves. I will then do same again, another 6 inch, and I'll put the elephant in along there. It's only 12 cloves of that, but there will be a bit more space in between the elephant garlic than there is between this. So we'll get this planted. So we'll get these planted. Make a hole about 1 inch deep. Put that straight in, and it's really that simple. Making sure the pointed end, shall we say, is at the top, and the flatter end is at the bottom. I don't really need to use this dibber, I could use my finger. I won't push the clove straight in, even though this is quite nice soil, because I don't want to damage that plate. And that is it. We just go along, popping them in. Are all about 1 inch deep. So there we have it, all done. Elephant garlic. I didn't show you me putting the elephant garlic in, can't see any point in that. It's the same as doing the Solent white, and we've put the labels, Solent white, elephant garlic, 2 rows. It leaves that then for later on in the year for me to put something else in there, or early spring should I say actually, because thinking about it, this is the first planting for 2021, although it's gone in now, 18th of October 2020. This won't be harvested till 2021, so yeah, it's the first bit of planting for 2021. Doesn't time fly? Right, another little job for this time of year. Broad beans. They are Aquadulce, Claudia Aquadulce. Grown these, I think I've grown these nearly every year. Always very, very pleased with them. Always get a nice, good harvest off them. Black fly is the only problem I've ever had with broad beans, and that is, it's all dependent on the time of year. What I'm doing with regards these is I'm not going to sow them direct. I was going to go around the plot and sow them direct, but rather than sow them direct, I'm going to put them in a root trainer that is filled with a good old-fashioned clover compost. I've got my hands on some, and I've tried various different composts all year, but I've got to say I do like my clover. So get this filled up and we'll get and sow these broad beans. I've got to be honest, as I've just said, I do like the clover. And using these root trainers should help get good roots established. And it's a very simple process with regards to sowing these. I'll tip them out into what I do with these. When I sow a broad bean, I always put it in on its edge, whether it be that way, whether it be that way. I never lie it flat. If you lie it flat, there is a chance that it could rot within the compost. As for which way's round, I always, you can see the, shall we say, the black slot, call it what you like, the black mark. I always make sure that is either facing up or facing down. Simple as that. So here we go. Push them in, put a bit more compost over the top. I'm pushing them in about 1/2 inch. Just one seed per station, and once they've got themselves established and they are 4 or 5 inches tall, because they're quite a hardy variety, they will go straight round onto the plot. The ground is all prepared. It's been manured. It will probably have same treatment as you've seen with regards the garlic, where I have put that extra bit of compost into it. And as for the storage, as it were, for these to get going, they're not going to stay in the greenhouse here. These are going to go out on, there we go, That's all filled up. We'll just bit of extra compost over the top. Once these are all, these will get watered now, and they go on that little table in the garden, because they don't need cosseting. These are, when it comes to sort of autumn, winter time, these are hard nuts, broad beans, for want of a better way of putting it. There we go, all done. Label. And that's it. All finished. That's all finished. There we have it. Show you there. All the broad beans done. That will get watered. And as I've just said, it'll go on the table just at the side of the other greenhouse. So that's broad beans all sown up ready. Well, that's it for this one. Thank you all very much for watching. Really is appreciated. I'll put links below with regards to those websites that relate to that book. It's fascinating reading, I must admit, it really is. And it's also shown me that there's not a lot that's new within gardening, apart from hydroponics and things like that. But in general, with regards to, like with using manure to feed the ground and double digging to actually work the manure in, and just things like that, and also those seeds, as I was saying about with, just as an example, the onions, the Ailsa Craig and the Bedfordshire Champion. I didn't realise, I mean, they're like, what, it's like 80 years ago that they were in, you know, being advertised, and are still being advertised now. So there's a lot to be said, for them. Please like, comment and subscribe. That really would be appreciated. I do answer all comments, so please feel free to have your say, shall we say. So until the next one, be good, look after yourselves, look after each other, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks a lot. Ta-ra a bit.